Well, Judge. Councillor, can Council please try to log in for me? We're still having up. We're gonna try and see able to use the funds, and if you are able to use it, Councillor. He is already, Mos, is he not in? He is already in Gateway. Let's Councillor. Councillor Kolwapi, you can try and Councillor Mslana.
Only yes, I'm Plettenberg Bay. I decided to listen. After like this, I took paper to take this out.
Sorry guys. Good morning, Councillor. Can you please back in for me? Gateway? Yes, please, Councillor. Don't you then? Why are you like this? Sorry, Councillor. Councillor?
You'll be able to carry on in the meantime. Only be to that projector.
No, it's fine, but we must just test it again, yes. Let all the sounds lock in, yeah? Yeah.
And the hub is, and the actual look is working. So it's hosting the team meetings. And should be fine.
Yes, we just want to run the test and then Mr. Speaker.
Ja, appeltjes alle rijden. Ik zie het niet. Ik zie het niet.
I look the project on the screens as a
You can even show
speak. We will only be able to on the main screen, but we just
got them vandaag. Let's verkeren van onze information. Verkeren van die information. It's too weird.
yes.
Something else, just two windows.
If I say then I will also have to control it. There's no time for me also to control if we're gonna do it.
Yeah, you got the information about it.
And we will have to project there. Now, you have to project. That's
But we're separate.
good.
You'll be managing it
Hello,
separate.
hello, Jessica.
Morning, Councillor. Thank you. Can you see the screen?
No, there's no screen. It's blank in front of me.
So there's no screen. So I'm
Just doing a test. Just doing a test.
I did share the screen. Because I can see what she's doing. You did share. You can use one second, Councillor. Yes. So that I will then have to see it from you.
Uyangena Mbele?
Also,
Thembela. Thembela. Uyakwazi ungena? Unayo ipassword yalapha? Nayo la password yalapha? Nayo. Okay, nami ndingene ngayo kuze ndikwazi ungena. Ndingenile ndi-on but i-screen sabo asiveli ku. Andiyiboni i-chamber but sendithethile nabo ndingenile.
Morning, councillors. Can you see the screen now? Please confirm.
Ja, je kan niet hele dag voor jezelf.
Councillor Manslana, Councillor Polwapi, Councillor Dr. Zeti Inch.
Now the screen is still playing pictures.
You're not gonna find deputy, my it's fine. Werkt. Dat was hier weer. Hij ziet wel eens sabi salga weer. What emotion?
Can I start now?
Councillors can't see the screen, so we're starting. They will be able to hear, but not able to see what we are saying. Right? Is it fine? Otherwise, we'll just restart and see. And councillors, if you not quickly log in again, you can just hit 5 and then we'll see. If she can't see the screen, then she will be fine just to hear. Okay.
Ik heb nog echt.
Share.
Als ik wil meer moeilijk in beginnen, maar ook zo.
Connect to a computer. Which
Okay, so.
En hoe ze gaan lopen.
someone was connected to a machine.
Helemaal uit en
Sure.
ik propose. Tijdelijk weer.
Okay.
Tijdelijk close. Tijdelijk. Ik heb ons gaan leren door kijken naar de zitten.
I don't think this is still open.
Fijn. Maar je bent tijdelijk gaan halen. Kom maar vast. En dat is heel erg. Om Nederland mee was. Nederland staat bij internet. Bij internet moet je. Als je nog je moet. Safe. Als je nog wat alles los met je. Alles. Sorry. We gaan niet maken. We gaan boven.
Yes, click, yes, join. You joined on that. But then don't use my website, use your app that you have. Use the second option that says, yes, your team's app.
Ja, laat maar zien. Laat maar zien.
This game.
Als ik alles is bezig. No. Als een dagje naar Bitou. Dat is daar.
Okay, I just need to podcast you and I put back out. Thank you.
How to be a leader. How to be a leader workshop dat.
Invite councillors to
Yes, awesome. Wag niet van avond.
Hello, councillor. Don't see you. We are looking at I can accept right. Okay, you in. Thank you very much.
Ja, wat mijn fan van die baas.
Can you see the screen, councillor?
Play Daddy.
Hello.
Ik is maar klaar niet fiets. Play Daddy. Ik ga nog bellen om te zeggen, ja, moet pauze steken. Waar je nou toch?
Yeah, so it's like.
Ay, di ba ka play? Come speaker out.
Good morning, councillors.
Di ba play no? Morning speaker.
Morning, councillors. Let me apologize on behalf of.
Hello, Speaker. I can see now the projections. Thank you.
Thank you, TM.
Okay.
Almost 20 to 10 now. Let's start virtually. Let me start with virtual ones. On the virtual platform, got the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Kolwapi, Councillor Mhlana, and also Councillor Seti. She is struggling to get in, but she will be assisted. And also the CFO will be virtual. The two councillors that are virtually and out of town is Councillor, the Deputy Executive Mayor, and Councillor Mstana. They are on official business, representing Bitou. Councillor Seti is sick, but she promised she will be virtual.
Speaker, I can confirm that she's actually she'll stand by because I have her on the phone. She tells me she's still battling to actually sign up.
Councillor Seti? All right, all right. The staff will assist you to, okay, they will assist you, they will assist you. Sorry. All right. Greetings, councillors, once again, to the acting MM, Madam Paulson, the CFO, Mr. Ngubo, Mr. Felton, our Director of Engineering, Mr. Loliwe, our Director of Corporate Services, and Mrs. Feldeman, our Director at Economic Development and Planning, also the councillors at large, the Executive Mayor, the MMCs that we have today, to also the officials and the visitors today. We have our whip is just reminding me that I forgot about.
I'm invisible nowadays.
Hey, this councillor is dramatic. I like his drama. We've got a visitor today, councillors. This is an ordinary council meeting of the 31st of July, 2024. And I've procured, not in terms of monetary value, Councillor Kamkam, I've procured Bishop Louis Williams from the Methodist Church of South Africa. There's a church there in KwaNokutula. He is there. So he is going to give us just a scripture, short scripture, and a short prayer for this meeting. We really need a divine intervention because our problems are so many and we must solve them because people have voted us in so as to solve their problems. We really need a divine intervention. Over to you, Bishop.
Good morning, Speaker, Executive Mayor. I don't know the protocols. Suffice to say, all councillors and administrators, I greet you this morning on this beautiful spring morning in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I'm not making a mistake by saying it's spring. In the Karoo where I grew up, our grandfathers used to say when it hits the 15th of July, then winter is officially over. So it is spring for us. Like the speaker said, I am Louis Williams. I'm the bishop for the Karoo and the Garden Route for the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. And I've also been given responsibility to pastor the Methodist Church in KwaNokutula. So it's an honor for me to be here this morning. Without further ado, to follow etiquette, I've been asked to do a short scripture reading and then a prayer, and the operative word obviously being short. offer you the wise counsel of Paul to the Colossians, chapter 3, and I read verse 12 to 15 and verse 23 and 24. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12 to 15 and verse 23 and 24. You are the people of God. He loved you and chose you for his own. So then you must clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Be tolerant with one another and forgive one another whenever any of you has a complaint against someone else. You must forgive one another just as the Lord has forgiven you. And to all these qualities, add love, which binds all things together in perfect unity. The peace that Christ gives is to guide you in the decisions you make, for it is to this peace that God has called you together in one body. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as though you were working for the Lord and not for people. Remember that the Lord will give you a reward, but he has kept for his people. For Christ is the real master you need to serve. This is the word of God. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.
Let us pray. But in the quietness of this morning, as we gather in this place to deliberate around issues affecting ordinary people of this area of our country, we pause in the stillness and the peacefulness of this morning, painfully aware that in contrast, it is not so peaceful in our hearts, in our situations, and maybe in this municipality. So we come before you this morning and we invite your spirit to come and move among us this morning. For the spirit to endow us with the gift of discernment and an eye to see into the future, to see the vision you have for your people of this municipality. I pray, Lord, for wisdom in those who lead this municipality. I pray, Lord, for a spirit of patience and calmness as they lead and steer the ship. I pray, Lord, that as there would be opposing views, that you'll give them a place where they have common ground, where they have the gift, Lord, to consider the alternative. As there would be alternative voices, Lord, we pray that your spirit will find breathing space in this place, that your spirit will bind everyone in this place with a gift of love and peace. So we invite you to come now, Lord, as the speaker gets these deliberations underway. And we just ask, Lord, that you'll endow him also with a spirit of wisdom and discernment as he controls this meeting. Come now, Lord, we pray that you'll be with us in the form of the Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Bishop. We are going to deal with the order of business. Hope you are free to peacefully leave. If you want to sit, you can sit and listen to our deliberations. As a member of the community, it's upon you. Councillors, let me go to point 3, the application of leave of absence. There is none. Point number 4. The oath and solemn affirmation of a new member of Municipal Council will refer to the item 3/3/212/24 circulated herewith. Can take over.
Speaker,
You can come forward, Renisha Williams, and come forward, ma'am,
Yes.
so as to be part of our team. You can come this side. Councillor, we want this to come inside to that side. We want you to remember this day. Must be photos that will be taken. Let me move aside because I don't want to mess up your photo.
in Councillor Williams, are you going to take an oath of affirmation? Oh. Speaker, please, for record purposes, the councillors elected to take an oath. Councillor Williams, if you can repeat after me. I, Renisha Williams, hereby swear
that
I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa
I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa
and will obey, respect, and uphold
and will obey, respect, and uphold
the Constitution
the Constitution
and all other laws of the Republic.
and all other laws by the Republic.
And I solemnly promise
And I solemnly promise
to perform my functions
to perform my functions
as a member of the Bitou Local Municipal Council
as a member of the local Bitou Municipal Council
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Is there not a God? There you go. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Councillor Williams.
Ik ga niet in Bulgarie. Kom op in elkaar.
You speaker.
Noreen. Lijn is vol. Lijn is vol. Sinds wat? Wat staat is? Die zijn allemaal samen. Hij werd bij hier nou weer gasten of is een kaas ook iedereen. Dan weet ik. Dit was de zaak, hè? Papa, je bent zo.
Thank you very much, councillors. Congratulations, Councillor Renisha Williams, as being part of the team. The engagements, sometimes they are robust, sometimes they are very nice. You
Get it out.
yeah, you'll figure it out. But we are a very sweet council. All the councillors are very sweet. You don't take it too hard when there are deliberations inside and end up not greeting councillors outside because they dealt with you in council. It's our business. Yeah, you are part of us. Congratulations. Let me go to point number 5, the declaration of interest. Any disclosure, councillors? I take it as none. Point number 6, confirmation of minutes for the previous meetings. Open 6.2, minutes of the special council meeting dated 28th June 2024. Circulated, okay.
Minutes of the special council meeting held on Friday, 28 June 2024, page 7, Page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, page 15, page 16, page 17, page 18, 19, page 20, and the attendance registers on 21, page 22, and 23. That conclude the minutes for 28 June 2024.
Okay, is it the true reflection of the minutes, councillors? Proposer, Councillor Michel, the seconder, Councillor Mangaba, second. 6.2 minutes of the special council dated 4th July 2024.
Minutes of the special council meeting held on Thursday, 4th June 2024, page 24, page 25, page 26, page 27, and the attendance registers on page 28 and 29. That conclude the minutes.
The true reflection of the minutes, councillors.
The true reflection, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor.
Second.
Councillor Michel, thank you. Going to point 7, statements and communications by the Executive Mayor.
I thank the Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. And also on my side, nothing. Presentations, point number 8, presentations, none. 9 items for information which have been dealt with by the Executive Mayor in terms of delegation to authority. Circulated with. It's just.
Speaker, we've just helped with a few things.
Yes, Executive Mayor.
Say that.
You're fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Councillor. Point 10, noting of outstanding partially implemented council resolutions. Circulated with. Happy with the resolutions, councillors?
I'm happy, Speaker. I don't know if anybody else want to raise something.
All right. So much. Point 11, consideration of reports, non-delegated matters, items for consideration, schedules of items attached. Over to you, ma'am.
Starting off on section 1, Office of the Municipal Manager. First item is item C, /1/235/07/24, Risk Management Framework 2024/2025, page 44.
The item is serving councillors.
What will we go with the recommendation, Speaker?
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Seconded by Councillor Mangaba.
The second item under section 1 is item C, /1/238/07/24, the status report on the airport business and long-term lease of the Plettenberg Bay Airport, circulated per addendum, page 3.
The item is serving councillors. Councillor Nell.
Speaker, we've had various urgent meetings and still the matter remains a matter of urgency. Having gone through the legal report that was received from the advocate, there are some serious concerns, I think, which we should raise. The first is, Speaker, that we have a conflict in terms of the contractor and the person which eventually, the person that tendered and the person who eventually got the contract. In one respect, it is the same firm, but we are dealing with legal matters. There are two different legal entities. RSA Era was the tenderer, but we did the contract with Gardenwood Era. That places a problem, a legal problem for us. It was not dealt with in the body of the contract initially, and therefore the tender was incorrectly awarded to Gardenwood Era, which should have been awarded to RSA Era. The fact that Gardenwood Era and RSA Era are very similar in terms of their shareholding is not of importance here. It is the legal entities which differ. As we are a municipality, we in fact are actually functus officio in this matter. A mere redrafting of an agreement afterwards does not necessarily mean that it's going to be legal. The fact that they include now in the draft that we've seen attempts to do that.
Oh, okay. Or that thing that says mic. So should I make it off or on?
You are on, Councillor Sethi. You are still on the business. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor.
Because there is a definite legal problem that we face. The problems are much broader than that. Looking at what we have in front of us, Speaker, it appears that there was no proper due diligence done as to the financial capacity of this institution to deal with what lies ahead. The further problem is where we were brought to believe that it was a responsibility of Bitou municipality to deliver a Category 5 license to the contractor. That is not right. It was the responsibility of the contractor to acquire the Category 5 license from a CISAA. And it was a foot stewards agreement, which means that the contractor accepted it as is, with all the latent and patent defects that there may be. Not only that, Speaker, the contractor undertook to develop this aerodrome to a Category 6 aerodrome at their own cost, which would be offset in some ways against the payments which they make to Bitou municipality. Therefore, it is of major concern to me that there was no proper due diligence done, not that I'm aware of. There may have been something, but not that I can see in any council minutes. There were no sureties, no guarantees. The other area of major concern is there are affected parties who have not been consulted properly. For one, we have a client in the Hangar Owners Association who has a very definite interest in this airport when it was still a private airport, Plettenberg Bay private airport, which is now being developed to an aerodrome. We have SEMAIR, who have suffered financial damage as they were forced to close down or shut down flights for an extended period. Don't know up to when. As we all know, by rights, the CAA should have cancelled our license or suspended our license by now in terms of the times that they've given us. All round, Speaker, I think this matter needs to be revisited. It appears to me, and I would like to hear further legal advice on this. Are we in fact functus officio? Can we in fact rectify the agreement by adding a clause and putting in and including that only basically in the introductory paragraphs? That is amongst some of the problems, but it goes further than that, Speaker. Our community suffers as a result of this. SEMAIR has been delivering, and SEMAIR in its own right has had difficulties, whether rightly or wrongly, with members of our administration for quite some time. But be all that as it may, they delivered a very important service as far as tourism is concerned, as far as keeping the runway up and running is concerned, and as far as people that need their service desperately, people that shuttle, people that come on holiday, there is a desperate need for that service. That's now been suspended, pending what is going to happen from here. All round, Speaker, I think this matter has been dealt with unprofessionally. I don't think by intention, but I think there's been a reasonable lack of consistency as far as personnel is concerned, and people dedicated to actually managing that airport properly with a proper experience and knowledge. I think we need further advice as to whether or not we should go out on retender, but what we need to do is to get this runway up and running as soon as we practically possibly can. It is of drastic importance. And the most important vision and long-term vision that we've had, I think, is quite correct. It is of critical importance to our tourism industry, one of our major industries that we survive on, this municipality, the development for that. Also of importance for job creation, it could and it has the potential to create a number of jobs for our community. So all round, Speaker, I think it's an extremely important matter, but I think we need to deal with this. We put together people and a team which are not present today. None of them are here today. We need serious advice. We need to consult with our stakeholders properly. And we need to look at how we are going to deal with this in future. Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker, I did have my hand up because there has been a very important development in relation to this. As of this morning, the CAA has sent a notice to the Bitou municipality, received this morning by the CFO, 7 minutes past 8, and the airport license has been suspended. So it's no longer a matter of whether or not it is going to be suspended. The license has been suspended. I have emailed Jessica quickly the letter that we have received, Speaker, and with your indulgence, whilst Jess gets it on the screen for us. The letter is dated the 31st of July, 2024, and has been addressed to Bitou local municipality for the attention of Mr. Davidson and Ms. Barnes. Subject notice of suspension of Plettenberg Bay Aerodrome license number 234. This letter serves as a notice to you regarding the decision of the South African Civil Aviation Authority to suspend the aerodrome license of the Plettenberg Bay Aerodrome. As you are aware, that it was reported to the enforcement unit within SACA that on the 22nd of June 2023, 29th of November 2023, and the 27th of June 2024, the SACA conducted ad hoc inspections and an aerodrome license renewal of your aerodrome in Plettenberg Bay. The inspections revealed that, amongst others, the surface of the runway and the temporary of the aerodrome is breaking in multiple places. As a result, in June 2023, the aerodrome was issued with one level 3 finding, and the aerodrome was afforded an opportunity to submit a corrective action to them. The aerodrome submitted a CAP wherein it was indicated that there was a project plan for the rehabilitation of the runway surface and road markings. The implementation date of the project was identified as 30 September 2023. Despite this undertaking by yourselves, on 29 November 2023, during the renewal audit, it was found that the road surface, amongst others, was still breaking up. This resulted in the SACA issuing a level 2 finding as a result of the continued non-compliance. During the said renewal audit, the aerodrome was given a further opportunity to submit a CAP, to which the aerodrome responded by submitting a CAP in December 2020, I assume 2023, That could be a typing error, wherein it was indicated that the Bitou municipality maintenance workers had fixed the road surface of the runway and apron. However, during an ad hoc inspection conducted on the 26th of June 2024, it was revealed that despite the 2 previous caps from the aerodrome, the runway surface was still breaking up, with signs of structural deterioration in multiple areas. During this inspection, the aerodrome was issued with, amongst others, 1 level 1 finding and 3 level 3 findings. In the audit report, the aerodrome was advised that a level 1 finding needs to be addressed immediately, or mitigation measures to reduce the risk to an acceptable level be put in place. A meeting was held between the aerodrome representative and SACA officials, during which you undertook to appoint a professional consultant to conduct assessment of the runway with the aim of appointing a civil contractor once the assessment is complete, who will then scope the work. The aerodrome further advised on the 11th of July 2024 that SMEC has been appointed to do the assessment. While we appreciate the efforts taken to address the level 1 finding, we are of the view that there are no measures in place to immediately address or mitigate the risk associated with the level 1 finding, as you have been unable to confirm the availability of funds to undertake the repairs. We have also not been able to indicate the duration of the repairs, and as a result, the safety risk remains. On the 26th of July 2024, SACA served the municipality with a notice of intended suspension, wherein this matter will be discussed, and that thereafter you will only be in a position to formulate a response to our notice. 26, the municipality was afforded an opportunity of 72 hours to submit representations. On the 29th of July, a letter was received that advised us that the Bitou Municipal Council meeting is scheduled for the 31st of July 2024, when this matter will be discussed, and that thereafter you will only be in a position to formulate a. Due to the imminent safety concerns that remains at the aerodrome, the SACA is not in a position to await the outcome of the council meeting, while the significant safety risks persist unmitigated. The SACA views the non-compliance to be a serious violation of the Civil Aviation Regulations, Part 13902.23, between brackets 2, between brackets T, SA CATS 139.02.10, between brackets 1, between brackets 4, between brackets small a, comma 13902.238, between brackets 2, between brackets small a, C, and D. As such, action poses a serious safety hazard and risk to the civil aviation industry. Considering these concerns, the SACA deems it to be in the interest of aviation safety that we notify you of our decision to suspend the Plettenberg Bay Aero's license number 234 until the above finding is resolved and the surface of the runway and apron are found by SACA Aviation Safety Infrastructure upon inspection to be compliant with the provisions of Part 139.02.23. This step is carried out in giving effect to the provision of Part 185.04.1, between brackets 1, between brackets small b, of the Civil Aviation Regulations of 2011. Should you feel aggrieved by this decision, kindly note that you have the right to appeal the decision to the Director of Civil Aviation. Should you choose to appeal to the Director within 30 days from date of this letter, together with an appeal fee of 2,815 rand. I think the rest, Speaker, is not necessary for me to take counsel through. At this point, Speaker, I do not know whether or not you would want the administration to respond to the questions of Councillor Nell, firstly pertaining to functus officio, whether or not council is functus, and the other issues of a legal nature raised by Councillor Nell. The acting manager for legal services is present. The director for corporate services is present, who was a team member responsible for the legal opinion and was also able to provide legal advice to council on the matter and myself as well. So I'm not sure whether or not we want to now first discuss, Speaker, the notice of suspension, or whether or not you want us to respond to Councillor now.
Thanks, Acting MM. Councillors, I will give you, because we must deliberate about this matter. We've been deliberating about it for quite some time, and it needs us to take cognizance that we are here now. The letter that we are just receiving, it was received this morning. And looking at our item, councillors, is that I want us to discuss this with sober minds. The Civil Aviation Authority wanted then to suspend our license at the aerodrome because we had to fix a runway. Let me put it this way, that was dilapidated. And it had financial implications. On the other side, we had leases and contracts that we were questioning. And even we sought legal opinion about those. But what I want us to start with, councillors, now the airport, they have suspended the license. When they say they have suspended the license, that means we are in trouble. We must fix that side. And the item here deals with that. Then on the other side, then really we must get advice from the Director of Corporate Services and the acting MM legally so that we can take a conscious decision here. So I will give over to the Director, Director Uloliwe. Also to what Councillor Nell was saying here, just clarify what is really happening. Over to you, Director.
Speaker, councillors, colleagues. To start off, a legal opinion that was previously presented to this council indicate that this situation can still be saved. From the BSc to the adjudication up to the award, there is nothing wrong. It was done. Procedurally, everything that was done was lawful. The issue only became when the signing of the contracts were happening. A wrong contract that did, a wrong company that did not bid at all. This municipality entered into the contract with the company, which later it was discovered that it's a subsidiary of the company that bidded. But the laws of supply chain do not allow that you contract with the subsidiary. You must contract with the company that bidded, that has been awarded the tender. The council that we appointed advised that the situation can still be saved. That is why, subsequent to the opinion, we've instructed that council to draft a new SLA, rectify and validate the same contract and the lease contract that we previously signed with. So that's the situation that we are at. We have received a draft SLA, we were to go back to the company that was awarded to negotiate the terms of that SLA. With a bit of predicament in that situation because up to this date, the original documents of the tender are still missing. So I have provided the attendants with the specifications on the tender document that was given to all bidders. So we have tried to conditions of that tender, but we have not included the proposals of the bidder that won the tender through the SLA. So there's a bit of predicament. Even the attorney yesterday wrote to me to ask whether we have found the original documents, because we need to see what exactly that company proposed. And we, at this point, were unaware of what exactly was their proposal, but we do know what were the conditions and the terms of the tender when the tender was issued. So that is the situation for now. We have not stopped looking for the original documents. And there's also an employee that was charged to that respect, because our evidence showed that the tender documents were signed out to a certain employee and they were not signed in or back to the supply chain. So we have charged that employee and I think we have submitted, because I was the prosecutor there, I've submitted my closing arguments yesterday, awaiting the outcome of the chairperson. But we are still looking for the original documents. Thank you very much.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Director Loliwe. I think what is also important is what the Director has said. And at this stage, it is important for the purposes of Councillor Nell's question to just understand that it is not the bid adjudication process has been completed and it was lawful. It therefore stands. It is in that respect that Council is focused in terms of the award of the tender. But what we are seeking to do now, as the Director said, is not to go back and award a different tender, but just to correct the error that occurred, that the wrong contract, we have contracted with the wrong entity. So that is what the opinion is also saying. And secondly, insofar as it relates to the public participation process, this tender was awarded by way of public tender. It wasn't a deviation. It wasn't any other form of process that was followed, but it was an open and transparent process, which the legal opinion has also said remains legally sound. So the issue of participation, since it was a public tender, has been addressed. Now, what we are sitting with now is that the team that this council in the previous council meeting has appointed has done their work. The only matter that is outstanding is the assessment, the technical assessment report, but Director Felton did have a report that was conducted by himself, which comes down to the estimates that were provided there. We have this morning as a extended management, executive management team met to discuss the suspension notice that has been served on us, and we have drafted amended recommendations. But before we get to that, Speaker, I think you are correct that Council should now deliberate, because there is, we're sitting with a whole different ballgame.
Councillor Twals, the Executive Mayor.
I've raised the hand.
Okay, noted, DM. Councillor Swan.
I think my hand was first, but on anyone. But it's fine. I'll wait.
I've noted you, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want some clarity in terms of the license withdrawal, because we need to get the correct message out to the public as well, and that's why I just need that clarity. The license is for the commercial operation, if I'm correct, which means it doesn't shut down the airport for private traffic. Just want to get that clarity. So in other words, people in light aircraft would still be able to use it, but it can't be used by the likes of SIM Air. Need that clarity there as well. Thanks.
Councillor Kamkam first and then the virtual.
Executive Mayor.
No, first give to Councillor Kam. I would like to, and Councillor Kamkam first. I want to be last.
Oh, Councillor Kamkam. The mayor is.
You've got a deputy.
The mayor, executive mayor is fond of you.
The executive mayor / deputy has spoken.
What all that place?
Yeah. Councillor Nell has summed it up pretty much. I mean, if you look at this whole issue, there's quite a number of concerns, you know, for me personally, quite a number of concerns. From the tender price that we settled for, it was much less than the original amount, to the fact that we've entered into an agreement with a separate legal entity. It was not the original entity that actually submitted the bid. And the whole non-compliance that goes along with it. I do understand that the adjudication process, as it was stated here, it was open, it was transparent, it followed SCM processes. But I also understand that the issue comes in when it came now to the agreement between the municipality and this other entity, which at some point then also from a SLA or a lease agreement, there was something about a sale agreement also thrown in there, you know, which in itself is another problem. But we are being told now that, you know, we are at this point and the other process, we can't question, we can't whatever, because it was fair. However, my concern is if I look at 8.1.4, that the sale agreement or the lease agreement as it currently stands leave Bitou, NSA, Aero and GRA open to legal action and can be declared invalid by any aggrieved third party or any other bidders, given that the subsequent agreement between the parties were not entered into in accordance with the tender specifications, that's now in Extra B, or the successful bid by NSA Aero and does not adhere to the relevant legislation, regulation. That's what the legal opinion says. Then it also speaks to, I think 8.2.1.6, the other issue I want to focus on. Just bear with me, please. I've got notes all over the show. Is it on the screen? Yes. As previously stated, we sat here in our first meeting and there was a whole issue of us, we had to hand over the runway at a certain category, and it became like a forced type of situation where, you know, if we don't do this, we will be in breach of, you know, what has been agreed upon. If we didn't stand our ground as council and say, no, don't investigate, I'm sure we probably would have been forced to make decisions that will have huge financial implications for this municipality, simply because someone felt they need to hold us accountable for, you know, upgrading the runway, even though if I read now with 8.2.6, it says in terms of how the sale agreement or the lease agreement were drafted and entered into between NSA Aero
as the party thereto, neither RSA, Aero, or GIA can also be held legally liable for any form of non-fulfillment of the tender specifications or requirements as per Annexure B. I don't want to read it all issue. I think I got the wrong clause now, but okay, let's scrap it. My question is, Speaker, we look at the recommendations for this. Can we go back to the recommendations? Because I think the document that was submitted was pretty clear. But now we sit with these recommendations that we must note the progress report. We authorize the team established to negotiate the terms of the new agreement, including the best method to repair the runway for non-conform compliance with the South African Civil Aviation Authority. The council authorized the municipal manager to enter into the new agreement once the terms have been negotiated. Okay, I want to start with number 2. If we start now with a new agreement, will that mean that the first agreement obviously will no longer be valid? So then the new agreement will only be able to be implemented on the new date of that agreement. Is that correct? Do I make sense? You understand what I'm asking? Yes. Because previously we had an agreement with certain conditions which will now be because that agreement in itself is not valid because of the issue of the entity and all the rest of it. So now we are going into a new agreement, and we receive this letter now today that says that our license has been suspended, which means the new agreement will include that issue. Understand what I'm saying? The new agreement will include the issue that the runway as of that date, the license has been suspended, which will mean it will be our problem. You hear what I'm saying? It will be our problem. We will be sort of in a way liable to repair the runway because it will still be our responsibility. That's the issue that I have. And that in itself has got financial implications for us as a municipality. So I want to know, have we looked at the option? I will come back to the financial implications and the processes that we need to follow if we make decisions that will have financial implications. Have we looked at this issue and say, in terms of our SCM, we understand the process was fair and all the rest of it. Have we looked at the option for us to start afresh? Have we considered that option, or is that option not viable? Are we just going to take this on with all the financial implications and all the other implications that goes with that without looking at that other option?
Got you. Deputy Mayor? Deputy Mayor, still there?
Yes, I'm still on.
Over to you.
Special greetings to Speaker, Mayor, Whip of the Council, MMCs, my councillors on the opposition side, and the directors of the council, everybody that are there in the council. Special greetings. It is very cold in Worcester. That's what I could say, Umakaza. Listening to all people that have already deliberated on this item, looking also to what was supplied yesterday from the legal opinion point of view, adding up all these things, I came to a point of saying, yes, I acknowledge the fact that the procurement processes were fine as per what we are being assured of. And I'm glad to hear that the processes of procurement were fine, because I always have it in my mind to say, if then the people that were dealing with this tender were so deliberate to change things, were so deliberate to sneak information out of the council, out of the municipal grounds, they are so eager to destroy information for us to be limited asked to get it, how can we be sure that this contract was the only one that was right to be looked at? Because when I looked at the papers yesterday, it was saying this RSA oral contract or service provider was the only one that was well enough to be considered and to look through. But now, when the whole administration change or the whole council change, we started now to have people that had an interest to destroy everything and take out and sneak out and everything. It remains that to me as a question that what is it that was so desperately hidden from this whole thing of this contract if all was well? This even open up for me a question of asking, should we not go back and look all the processes that were there? Because we are still remain here as per how I'm reading. Since this contract was having two parts of it, two parts, the sale of a business, the lease of the grounds. In the sale of the business, clearly in that contract that we are having, that we perceive it as invalid, there was an explanation of a 4.5 million that is sold the airport business, and that makes us to get a 45,000 per month over 108 months, that is 9 years. But when it comes to the 116 million, the one that is explained explicitly that's how this contract, that's how this service provider won the tender, because he offered 116 million of the contract of the whole thing of the leasing. I don't find anything that speaks on that. Now, I'm also surprised that there's still nothing that verifies to us that what the 116 million, the conditions of the tender were. It makes me to ask myself, why are we dealing with this contract, whereas there are some information that can't make us even to be confident enough to continue with and give us clarities? Because why do we only focus to the business side of the 4.5? We don't concentrate to the 116 million. That what is it that is bringing to us as the municipality, and what is it that is going to do good for us? What if this whole thing of the runway that need to be fixed, it might be assisting if we can know the condition of the 116 million without us, the municipality, to cough us any money towards this. Hypothetically, maybe the 116 million was saying, I'm going to look to the whole airport and fix everything with the 116 million. All of us were playing a devil's advocate here. We don't know the 116 million, what is bearing the conditions, or how is it going to be paid? How is it all this thing? So for me, looking at this side, I become lost that we only attend to this thing of this 4.5 that's going to be paid, and it's the selling of the business. But we don't look the bigger thing, the bigger picture that made us to award this tender to RSA Oro, the 116 million. Everything is silent. There's an information that we are not getting about it. What makes us to continue and give this thing access and us to dwell on it, whereas there's no information that makes us to take a decent reasons on that decent what can I, this is a that are decent. What makes us to really go on and push other things, whereas there's 116 million. As I'm sitting here, I don't know even how is it going to be paid, and what are the conditions that goes with the 116 million. We still got papers that are not there. How do we make it decisions out of this condition?
Okay, TM. Okay, TM. Councillors, I'm going to give over to the CFO, because we're talking about money here. CFO?
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes, very clear.
Thank you so much, Somloma, and good morning to yourself, so Mayor, Deputy Mayor, all councillors. Excuse me, apologies for not being present in the meeting. I'd indicated to the acting MM as well as the speaker in terms of where I'm at. Chair, I think with regards to the matter that is before us, I think we welcome the questions that are posed by Alderman Nell as well as all the councillors. Speaker, I would implore council as we deliberate on the matter to separate two items. So the notice that the acting MM has just read out now, speaking to the level 1 findings, which is dealing with the runway. So I'd like maybe through yourself, Speaker, that council has a resolution on how we tackle the issue of the runway. Whether we are arguing on the validity of the tender process of what we are in terms of aerodrome and the municipality, we still need to have a solution on what we do on the runway. I think it's Councillor Swart was asking if the notice is specific on commercial flight versus private flights and whatnot. I think if we can speak to the issue of the runway, we can then be able to tackle that. Then as a separate thing, then deal with the nitty-gritties and the legalities and the numbers pertaining to the actual tender process. Speaker, as the letter indicates from the CAA, they've been at the municipality since June last year, 2023. And at every point, the municipality has been saying to CAA, we have a plan, we are going to fix. We have a plan, we are going to fix. And the reality of it, Speaker, has been that as council, as the municipality, we have not done what we kept saying to the CAA that we would be doing. Now, whether sorry, apologies, Chair.
No, carry on.
Okay, thanks. So now, whether there's merit or demerit on that, I think as a separate thing, as management and as council, we're going to need to be able to look at consequence management on individuals or people that should have done that and hadn't. That we should be able to do through the office of the acting MM, and as represented by Ms. Paulson today. That will be done as a separate thing. But Speaker, I'm just going to implore to council that we look at each of the scenarios and each of the aspects of it separately. We deal with the runway because at the end of this council, we need to be able to have a letter we write back to CAA. Are we appealing? Are we not appealing? And what's our plan? Whether we appeal or we don't appeal, we still have a runway that we need to find a solution of how do we fix. And then as a separate thing, Chair, we deal with the issue of the tender as expressed by Ms. Paulson, as well as the questions that have now come up from Councillor Kamkam, Alderman Nell, Councillor Koloapi as well now, in terms of them looking at those nitty-gritties. We need to be able to have a proper succinct way in terms of the composition of what makes up the contract. It becomes difficult here because as Director Lulu has indicated, the actual tender docs are not in our possession. And the process thereof, he's spoken to in terms of the employee that is now currently, in a hearing and all of those things. So I just thought, Chair, it would be important, without me getting into too much of the numbers, that we say the issue of the runway we need to have a solution for by end of today, and Director Paulson or Acting MM Paulson is then going to write to CAA to say this is what we're doing to rehabilitate, or this is the process. Then the process of then SCM and the tender and all of those things, if council feels that further work needs to be done on that, then we'll be guided by council. But I think, Chair, it was important that I raised that because where we are sitting now, to the CAA, it looks like Bitou is consistently trying to kick the can down. Inside Bitou, as a council still doesn't have all the answers that it needs or that it has raised. So we just need to be able to separate both those things so that with CAA, we have a concrete way forward that's going to speak to timelines, that's going to speak to proper commitment, because we can't simply say to them, we will fix the runway, we're going to look into it, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So I thought, Chair, let me just raise those points. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councillors, when I started, I wanted us to separate these issues, noted. I wanted us to separate these issues. If you remember, councillors, CAA is dealing with the municipality, not Aero SA. The fixing of the runway is our baby. And CAA, Airports Authority, were saying to us, you can't give to this company, that is Aero SA, without sorting out that aerodrome first, meaning the runway. As the CFO is saying, Council has been promising that they have got a plan to fix the runway, and it has not been fixed. Now, I want us to deal with this item, and we've received a letter now that they've suspended our license. And Councillor Swart was asking relevant questions here. But mine, I want to zoom straight to the comments by the Director of Engineering Services. Is the money here that is listed here estimates, or is the exact money that we must fix the runway?
Thank you.
Because we are coming from huge amounts of money. When we raised eyebrows, that money was said to be 46 million. And we said we can't. We even, on our recommendations, we said there is a team that is going to go out and negotiate with Aero SA, looking on the other side now of leases and contracts and so on. But there is another side where the Director of Engineering Services was to go and source and find out what are the financial implications of fixing the runway, because the runway belongs to us. So we've got those two, but really I think we must start with this one, Councillor. Over to you, Eric.
Councillors, fellow colleagues. Yes, so I did an assessment early in January, sometime January already. I was a little bit concerned of patient that was done there by our department. And luckily I could do a BO2 just like it was done by RSA Era. So I did exactly the same as what they did, my visual assessment. Came out to just over 12 million FC there. So there is a difference between theirs and mine. Anyway, you can actually determine the exact amount if you do a proper technical investigation, which means digging trial holes and looking at what's happening below ground.
Sorry, councillors, let me remind you again, because we said there is this team, the CFO, the Director of Corporate Services, and the Director of Engineering Services that are going and discuss, negotiate with the company. But on the other side, the Director of Engineering Services is going to look at this issue of the runway in terms of bringing consultant so that the municipality must really know what are the real financial implications. And even we took a decision that we need a legal opinion, an outside legal opinion, because we wanted to satisfy ourselves. Now, we are still there, councillors. Now, I'm going to go back to the engineering director. Is it what it is there, that what is there, the money that is going to fix that runway?
There is two extremes, if I can put it really short. One is what RSA Aero is given, and the one that I've done. So we both done visual assessments of the, as I said, visual assessments of the airport runway, the apron slabs, the turning circles. My assessment is there's no structural failure. I'm going to look at it. I know everyone's saying there's a structural failure to our concept structure. There's some soft spots. I do feel that we can do some repairs. The amount of repairs would come to about 12 million. to actually get the exact cost, we needed a technical investigation, and no one has done a technical investigation. Only SMEC has done a technical investigation, which is a number of years ago, and they also said there is no structural failure. In fact, the wording was opening statement from the report said no structural failure. So, all I can say is I've done the assessment, bit of assessment. That is the amount that I've determined it's going to be to run up to the level that's required.
Okay, councillors, I'm going to give over to you now. Councillor Mslana, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Speaker. Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, Executive Mayor and all councillors, including the administration. I think, as you have alluded with the CFO, we are trying to mix things here. One, I thought that we would get an advice whether we are able, in terms of the rules, to introduce the matter which is on the letter. Or do we introduce it here in this item or as a separate item so that we are able to take a decision? Because the runway remains our responsibility, whether there is a contract agreement with Aero SA or not, but we cannot allow a situation where we lose the runway or we lose the airport as a municipality, because to us, that is an asset that is very much important to the community of Bitou at large. So I want to ask from corporate service, HOD or the legal manager, whether they can assist in advising us whether we can introduce that letter as part of this item, or you, Speaker, introduce that letter in a separate item, but in this meeting, so that we are able to take a decision on it. Thank you very much. With that said, I want to support the recommendations by the acting municipal manager on this particular item. Thanks, Speaker.
Okay, Councillor Mangaba and Councillor, you will follow.
Thank you, Speaker, and a warm greeting to everyone at this. Speaker, my worry is that we are running circles around the item. We were provided with information via email. We had seen that over a period of September, November, and December last year, the ad hoc CA inspection was done. And then there was a commitment by this municipality that we acknowledge what issues are and we will embark in ensuring that we sorted that out. Be it we go on a tender or not, that situation remains unresolved, and it's a situation that we had acknowledged. And then now we are sitting with the situation where, yes, the letter has arrived this morning, but prior to that, we had received a letter of an intended suspension, which actually alludes to the very same pointers that are actually listed on the letter. What do we do from here? We have recommendations already on the on this item. Recommendation number 1 says the council note the content of the progress report. Secondly, the council authorizes the team established to negotiate the terms. At this point, we are aware that the existing contract is falling flat, which then puts us at an advantage, because now we've actually already delegated a team to actually go and do these actually negotiations on our behalf. Meaning now that we have such a team of esteemed officials, now when they come together, the information that's provided, because we must understand that the BOQ that was actually from RSA Aero with the consultant they actually used against the one that is actually from Director Felton, and the information at hand provides them enough resources or enough information to actually sit and go negotiate on our behalf as a municipality. If this asset remains to be ours, we want to actually debate technicalities about the SM process. The item remains ours, and it remains an issue that is now we are faced with the suspension. And even on the letter, there's actually options at which we can explore if we choose to actually appeal the suspension. So which is we have all the information right in front of us. So now I am going with these recommendations, but over and above this, I would like to add few other recommendations. One, that we would actually be noting the letter that we received of the suspensions. And second to that, we authorized the relevant officials where this is concerned to actually enter into the appeal, because we do not want to, because once we miss out the period of the appeal, we need to start over in terms of applications of the license, which will then push this business further out of the equation. We are still well within our framework to actually to negotiate and deal with this in a manner that will best suit the municipality and will be beneficial to the communities.
Thank you. Councillor Hein?
I'm not done yet.
Councillor Manga?
And then from there, Speaker, I've lost my trail of thought now, but I've made my point, and that's I want us to be progressive in that sense. The issue around consequence management and how we need to tighten SM processes going forward and how we must play our oversight role, we'll still do that. However, let's leave it out of this equation for now. The additional recommendations that I've made on top, over and above what's stated there, clearly what is support or second what Shana has already proposed.
Councillor Michelle?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, let me touch on the reality quickly. Just highlight what we went through in this process. This executive, there is an executive now. We got this board with one vote, and we have grabbed this board. And we have decided to establish a team to investigate, interrogate, and they did that. They are sitting there now. We have identified all the loopholes, the documents. Yeah, we are sitting with officials, the engineering is here, ex-mayor is here. They were part of that process. But we are sitting here and we have continued with this process. We are here now. But I just want to highlight this one thing now in this BOK on the scope of engineering. We got that first amount. There was a scope of work that needs to be done for that amount. It has changed with a huge amount. I just want us for the engineering, not now, give us a breakdown what have changed in the BOQ that we landed in this amount now. And on the letter, I just want us to, through you to the to go and investigate if it and find out if the municipality, are we part of that? That is suspended. Are we forming part of that or not? That is all on the letter for me, leaders. But for now, we have our recommendations in front of us. We've established a team, and I will second the recommendation that is in front of me. Thank you, Chair.
I will second. Director, I'll give it to you. That's it, my director. Mr. Loli, I want us to take us through about introducing the letter in this item. We want to do things correctly now, because the letter just arrived this morning. Also, acting okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, in future, I will.
Yeah.
Will be the
Speaker, yes, the letter that has arrived is a part of this whole item. It is an annexure to this item. Remember, it is now part of the previous item that we dealt with. There was no suspension. So we dealt with the item as if there was no suspension. This letter now amends the recommendations that are before council. So it's not a new item that we're going to deal with, but we have to deal with it because it now needs, it amends the body of the report that has come. It does not amend the legal opinion, but it does amend that we have to deal with it. So I would at this point in time state that exactly what Councillor Mangaba has said, the directors has deliberated this morning, and we were going to propose the same amendments to the item.
All right.
To include addressing the Director Loliwe was going to word it for us nicely, but maybe when we conclude, he can assist with the wording of the item to address that, as we have caucused this morning on how we are going to address this data. Then, Speaker, whilst I'm on the floor, we will have to get clarity, Councillor Swart, as to whether or not this is going to affect the light aircrafts.
Closed.
If it is going to affect the light aircrafts, or if it is going to only affect the commercial operations at the airport, and we will have to come back to you on that one. And on, yeah.
Thanks, Acting Ma'am. Executive Ma'am?
Yes, Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I didn't want to say in the beginning because I expected all of us to participate in this item. To start off with, I honestly thought the previous MMC would have taken us largely to brought us to a place of comfort. Hence, it took it to a part where we had to go and investigate again. Because behind the scenes, we were pulling into different directions. And each time we come to council, each corner has a different view. But reminding ourselves that previously, we've tasked a team out of this council. And this is the report from that team we have tasked as a collective. So why is it that we found ourselves in a position now again? Because we went in our different directions after we have appointed a team. It is a time that we must know that there comes a point in time that you must trust those you elect to lead us in certain things. And my point of this is to say that what's in front of me, I'm well comfortable to continue in the 3 recommendations with a 4th one added. I'm not blind to the fact that we had previous chances to fix it, but we cannot go now and say it was you that was meant. It's not a you thing. It's a us thing. We've endorsed this now, and I'm not going to point fingers to anyone yet. But going to the recommendations, I myself as the executive mayor is very comfortable. And those who feel that they are not comfortable can raise their views in such a fashion as what the rules of orders allowed us all to do. But Plettenberg Bay is suffering because we are at each other's heads here, coming with different views, council after council, council after open sessions after open sessions, closed sessions, and again open. But yet we cannot make decisions and we point ourselves out again to go for another views. So I'm saying this as a leader in this town, not taking away what the previous councillors has raised, but I'm well comfortable to continue with this because if anything out of this council further goes to another session, Plettenberg Bay is up. So let us put our trust in what we have appointed and go with the recommendations. I know the item is closed, Speaker, but I'm just raising this here that we are to know that we sometimes must make decisions. And these decisions in this form of the recommendations came from our very own directors and a team we have appointed.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Councillors, Councillor Mayor, Councillor Swab.
Speaker.
Councillor Mayor, I gave you time. I opened this item last week. Now, as a speaker, we are all in this together. We don't want to play politics here. We don't want to blame each other. It must not be a blame game. We are not representing our political parties here now. I don't want us to go there because the other politicians will point fingers to those that were in power at that time. It has came to us. It has flaws. We are trying to fix those flaws. But the fact remains is that that airport belongs to the community of Plettenberg Bay at large. That aerodrome, that runway belongs to the municipality. It's us who must fix that. And immediately after that, the other nitty-gritties will add after we've sorted out this item. Now I'm going to make a ruling. There are councillors who Councillor Mhlana supported the item, and Councillor Mangaba also added the recommendations on the item. Now, are there any other councillors that are against this item? Because it has been supported by 2 councillors, 3 councillors, Councillor Hine and Councillor Replanche. Are there any other counter proposals? Councillor Nel?
Speaker, I don't want to make a counter proposal. I just think it is important for us all to understand precisely what we are dealing with. And I think there's a question which needs to be answered. And I think it's been partly answered in that we say that the contract that was issued has been found to be valid in most respects. There are some technical problems. Can I just confirm again through the legal team that part of the agreement says that it will be the responsibility of SA Aero to bring the runway into the condition where it could receive a grade 5, a category 5 license, and which they would then afterwards, as part of the agreement, upgrade at their own expense to a category 6. Not only the runway, but the aerodrome as such.
That will be, Councillor Nel, will be the negotiations that will be done by the officials. But we are in this item now, where you remember, where CAA said, I'm giving you 72 hours. Now this morning, the letter is saying we've suspended your airport. So we need to deal with this, with these recommendations that were supported.
I think you're correct in most respects. What I'm trying to say here is the legal responsibility. If we have awarded the agreement, the agreement has been accepted, and the agreement is found to be legally binding, then we need to understand who is financially responsible to acquire this license. If I'm reading the contract correctly, and that's why my question, I think it is important and it is something that we need to clarify. Where I'm reading the agreement, at this point, it is the contractor's to get the runway to a level 5, category 5, and to get that license in their name.
Category 6. Councillor Nel, let me stop you. Let me stop you, Councillor Nel. You are moving to the other direction now.
Your statement is incorrect. There's initially no touching on the category 6. It is a longer term objective. If you read the contract, you'll see that. Initially now, the responsibility is to acquire a category 5 license from a CASA. And it is, if I read the contract and if it is valid, that's why my question. If that contract is valid, then it is the responsibility of the contractor to fund the cost of bringing it to a category 5 runway initially.
Councillor Nel,
later.
Nel, let me put it very clear. Are you against those recommendations that were proposed by Councillor Mhlana and seconded by Councillor Mangaba? I need now councillors who are going to be against those ones that were in favor.
Speaker, let me be equally clear. I am not voting against that. What I need us to understand is what we are dealing with. And if we are dealing with a valid contract, then we must address this matter to the RSA Aero. And that's why I'm trying to find out, as if we've established that the contract is a valid contract, then the contract says that it becomes the responsibility of RSA or is
no, Councillor Nel.
Or
Councillor Nel.
What I'm talking about.
No, Councillor Nel.
I'm mentioning.
No. You are playing to the galar now.
No.
You want to be seen as somebody who is trying something. Now, councillors, I've made a ruling. Councillor Kamkam?
Speaker, you've made a ruling. I am going to place on record that I've decided to abstain on this decision. I have asked previous questions regarding the validity of the contract, and when the new contract or new agreement will come into effect, what those implications will be. For me, it's still not clear on whom the financial responsibility will fall to actually fix the runway and how we will actually then go about to be able to finance that. So for those reasons, I'm going to abstain from this decision because we are dancing around the issue that the status of the runway is one issue, but we didn't come here for that in itself. We came here because of the contract that we entered into with the wrong entity and with the issues that came along with it. So I'm going to abstain from this decision. Thank you.
Councillor Mangal?
Speaker, just to actually put council is the situation with the airport is something that all of us are actually open to actually give entries and give our inputs. There's a longer thread of emails where we are provided with reports and then we give our meaningful inputs. It does not necessarily mean now that we are actually going with the recommendations we see here and the additional one I've placed that now we can't really comment on. Just to equip the team that is actually going to go and negotiate on behalf of the municipality. So I urge that councillors would actually use such a platform to actually have their entries considered, so that then the team that is actually set to negotiate on the municipality's behalf knows exactly what our issues would be or what things we actually highlighted. So at this point, I don't want us to deviate from the point. And I still maintain that the item is actually proposed and seconded. And I do urge, Speaker, through you, that councillors with additional inputs around the issue or the item in question are allowed to actually send those emails so that there's a greater direction where these agreements are concerned.
Yes,
I could just hand over to Director Loleway just to have the recommendations clear, and I will allow him to do the wording, but one will remain as is. And it is just important that council notes the notice of suspension that we have read out in council as number 2, because council now not only notes the content of the progress report, but also note the notice of suspension. Director Loleway, for the rest of the wording, I think 2 and 3 will also stay. But I think Councillor Mangapa has introduced the appeal under notice of suspension. Correct. You can help us.
Thanks. I think Councillor said most of to end, but maybe I'm not sure. Just directly. There's a combination that we decided before, which I'm doubting now that I'm hearing the deliberations, but I will read that for the record. Council notes that the technical assessment engineering report will only be available in 3 months. Return to council. 3 months. So this is the report that will result to fixing meeting of the requirements of the suspension. So the assessment will take 3 months to determine the value fixing of the runway and apron. That is what we want to get. And also, the council allows management to appeal the notice of suspension. There's also something missing there, because if we have this resolution, what do we say when we write the appeal? Because the council maybe must authorize the administration to take all steps to meet the requirements of the license that is being suspended. Because what are we going to do? We must commit I assume that when we write the appeal, we must commit to say these are the steps that we are going to take for us to meet the requirements as per the license. And that is missing in regulations. So I think we must just deliberate on that before we can close and conclude the item. Thank you.
Thanks, Speaker.
Yes, Councillor.
Just for guidance, Speaker. I understand what the director's concerns are, but if you read point two, let's just not read them in isolation. Because if you read point two, that we have an authorized team that is established in this to actually go and actually enter into these agreements on our behalf, right? So upon such negotiations, we know exactly what in terms of commitment on that agreement. When you are negotiating, you are able to say, based on the fact that obviously the license, if we appeal it, meaning we can still save it than starting over. Now, which makes now RSA Aero comfortable to enter into an agreement with us because already we are committing into something. And then in previous conversations, we had made suggestions around a certain fee and then the rest would be amortized over 30 years. Those are nuances that must be used in terms of getting into an agreement. However, for us to actually get to that level, let's not get these recommendations in isolation. The first can remain, the second can remain. Us noting the suspension and advising an appeal to actually be done, that could actually also form part of this. However, we know exactly now that all that we've gleaned and we have on our table are actually sufficient to actually get us into the agreement we are hoping to actually get into.
Okay. Director, your hand was up. There is only one councillor who's saying she is abstaining.
Speaker, please add my name to the abstention.
Councillor Nell also abstains. The item is closed. Thank you very much. Next item.
Moving to section 2. Moving to section 2, finance. First item is item C, stroke 2, stroke 218, stroke 07, stroke 24. List of withdrawal from municipal bank account for the quarter ended 30 June 2024, page 189.
Item 7, Councillor Michelle.
I propose to go with recommendation, Chair.
Thank you. Executive Mayor.
Second Speaker.
The Executive Mayor supports.
Next item is item C, stroke 2, stroke 219, stroke 07, stroke 24. Payment report for the fourth quarter ended 30 June 2024, page 195.
Item 7.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Nell.
Speaker, as a matter of clarification, I'd like to ask, I note that there are various votes which have moved funds from what I can understand to fund the day, Freedom Day. I interpret the government report show that approximately 230,000 odd rand was transferred from different votes to fund eventually the Freedom Day celebration, which event did not take place. I just want some clarity on that, please.
Councillor Michelle.
Speaker, this item we have dealt with this item in our portfolio. I will propose that we go with the recommendations.
So is there no answers or clarity on that, Speaker?
No, what I'm suggesting, Councillor Nell, because it must be an information that you receive extensively so. You see? Now it can be now that somebody just particularly officials must go out and craft a report and come with the report on that. You see, if really you want then to write a motion about that, you can, because it really needs a motion, because it was an event that had finances. So I think you must address it in that manner, because really you are not going to get the answer that you require at such a short notice.
I'll deal with it in another way then.
Thank you very much. Councillor Terreblanche, the Executive Mayor. Thank you. Next item.
Next item is item C, stroke 2, stroke 220, stroke 07, stroke 24. Report on the implementation of the supply chain management policy for the fourth quarter, 1st April to 30 June 2024, page 203.
Item is 7. Councillor Misha.
What we go with the recommendation, Chair? Second Speaker.
Councillor Mangaba, second.
Next item is item C, stroke 2, stroke 221, stroke 07, stroke 24. Report on quarter 4 inventory count at the municipal stores as at 27 to 28 June 2024, page 258.
The item is 7. Councillor Terreblanche, the Executive Mayor.
We go with the recommendation, Speaker.
Councillor Michelle.
Second, Chair.
Councillor Michelle, second. Thank you.
Next item is item C, stroke 2, stroke 222, stroke 07, stroke 24. Section 52 in brackets D, report for the quarter ending June 2024, page 77 per addendum 1.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
We go with the recommendation, Speaker. Second, Speaker.
Councillor Mangaba, second.
Moving to section 3, corporate services. First item is item C, stroke 3, stroke 210, stroke 07, stroke 24. Overtime report for the months of January 2024 until 31st March 2024, page 353.
Item 7, Councillor Michelle.
Propose, Chair, that we go with the recommendation.
Executive Mayor.
Second, Speaker.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, just the error on the index. It should read March, May, just go back. What time it should read from April 2024 until June 2024. Next item is item C, /3/211/07/24. Human Resource Management Division Quarterly Report for the period 1st April 2024 until 30 June 2024, page 355.
Item 7, Councillor Michel.
Possibly go with the recommendation, Chair.
Executive Mayor.
Second Speaker.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item is item C/3/212/07/24, which has been dealt under point 4. We will therefore move to the next item, which is item C/3/213/07/24. Request to the MEC to consider the WIP of council to be designated as a full-time councillor.
Item 7.
Possibly go with the recommendation, Chair.
Second.
Speaker.
Thank you.
Next item is item C/3/214/07/24. Nomination of political representative in secondary to the Provincial Salga Women's Commission, circulated per addendum 1, page 154.
Item 7, councillors. Executive Mayor.
I propose that we recommend Councillor Koluapi as a representative on the Women's Forum for Salga.
Councillor Michel.
In support of the proposal.
Councillors, there are 2 spaces there.
That's what I think.
Okay. Yes, Executive Mayor.
Speaker, can I propose that we, with the nomination being accepted, I hope so, that we propose Councillor Anisha Willemse for the Secundi.
Councillor. Councillor Oliphant. Councillor Oliphant. Oh, wonderful. All right. The first one is the Deputy Executive Mayor, Councillor Koluapi. The second woman is Councillor Willemse. Okay. Is it the right pronunciation? Willemse. Oh, I must be. Oh, I get it. Okay.
Moving to section 4, community services. First item is item C/4/206/07/24. Bitou Municipal Standardized Western Cape Disaster Management Plan Review, page 388.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
I just, before I propose, I don't know, but I don't see the portfolio chairperson. There's no in, but it's fine. I will propose that we go with the recommendation. Second, Speaker.
Councillor Mangaba, seconds.
Moving to section 5, engineering services, item C/5/156/07/24, capital projects implementation plan between bracket CPIP monthly progress report for period ending June 2024, page 486.
Item 7.
No green. And we don't want to ask that. It's open. It's for council.
Councillor Kamkam.
No, sorry, Speaker, let me just go to my. I've got a question on the current water treatment works. I see it says that a portion of the funds will not be spent, and application was made for a rollover. So this is funded through borrowings and internal funding, is that correct? Okay. I thought at some stage that we were looking at applying other sources for funding. Because I know the wastewater treatment works, we actually did receive the funding from, I think it's WSIG grant. So I wanted to know what exactly is the challenges and why is it that, we foresee not to actually find, but it says the other thing is it says 2023, 2024 financial year. I think we are now in 2024,
25.
2025 financial year. So that's the other thing I wanted to check that was confusing me. Because if you look at the challenges, it says that portion of funds will not be spent in the 2023-2024 financial year. The rollover of the funds has been requested. Is there an error or?
Error?
Speaker, so the funds wouldn't have been spent in the 23-24 financial year, we average 24-25 financial year. The reason why there was a delay is because the current projects we had to do the civil and then afterwards we had to do the electrical and mechanical. Electrical mechanical work only start in February, and that's why there was a delay for that. For that particular project. So we've asked for a rather of
Councillor Kamkam, satisfied?
Sorry, man, I might be confused between the water treatment works and the water treatment. Like I wanted to know, I was talking about other sources of funding, like the Down SIG and other grants. Have we explored that? Or has this project always been internally funded? Sorry, refresh my memory. There's a reason why I asked this question. Speaker, through you.
Follow up. Eric?
Speaker, so yes, we do a big funding, specific funding. Actually apply for any funding we can get. Sometimes we don't get the funding that we need, so we've got to use our internals or our borrowings as a source of funding. But yes, to answer the question, yes, we do apply for funding.
Thank you, Speaker. Just for guidance, the item is actually running up until the end of June. So it will be apparent that we will use 2023, 24 because our 24 actually ended last month. So this is the very first month of our new financial year. However, what I need to actually be guided on, I see there's a Boxer project that is actually on our report. I just need to understand because again, you read the report, all you will see is 86% commitment, and then you see work has been completed, saving was realized. I need a bit of meat where this, what was this? And so, because now I know exactly canals where I serve, so I need to understand what the 86% means and what is it that was done.
So I see that. Thank you. So that table there actually is reflected quite differently up to date. Everything is as far as the funding spent is, it says improved subsequently to that. Actually, that is the wrong table. I think there's another table if you looked at the MEG. So when you say as far as the box, sorry, repeat yourself.
Page 488, the first item on the table.
Can I help?
Yes, am I? Okay, so on that item on the boxing development, yes. So actually, when we say there was a savings realized, we actually did put out when you put out a tender, the tender comes back, you've got an estimate. On that estimate that we did, the tender price that came lower than our estimate. We realized there was a savings on that project.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Mangla.
Edge, through you that officials don't zone into defensive mode when we actually are questioning reports. Because I need to understand here, what is it that was done? Because in terms of savings and commitment, I don't think really that actually feeds us what we need to know what's happening. This is said to be a capital project. I need to know what is it that was done, because all I see here is construction. Please feed me, please. I want to get to a level where I read this report and understand it like everyone does.
The SP is actually the pump station we're talking about. It was to feed off the Boxer development. initial cost for that pump station, I don't have the figure with me, was actually higher than the actual tended price that was submitted. So when we submitted the estimate on that pump station, I mean lower, and we realized that it was going to be money left out.
From a layman's point of view, Director, my understanding is that when it says 86%, it's not yet completed, because if I go to the other one, construction Kurland, 100% work has been completed to those others. So when it says 86%, do you really mean that that has been completed? Because it's you guys that uses percentages in terms of completing the work.
I see where you're coming from. We're actually going to change that figure. It's sitting at this point in time, sitting at 100%. The figures aren't correct very easily. It's great.
Councillor?
Speaker, but this is the thing that we're setting in our portfolios. The same thing. It's a copy and paste, and we are presented with a report like this. And now we are live. We're saying the project is complete, but our report says it's 86%. So we can't come and fix things here. They must go to the reports and the agendas and fix it before they send it to the agenda. Thank you.
And another appeal, Speaker, through you, that I need officials to take a break when it comes to items of council. I understand that in as much as the report is right in front of us, it is a prerogative of each and every HOD to familiarize themselves with the reports from their user department, so that when we ask questions, it doesn't feel as though we are actually poking holes on their work. Because at the end of the day, we want to be empowered with the very same information so that we are able to report back to our communities. Without having to actually take up so much space in terms of pages that would be printed on items and reports. But I think it would actually be it will be empowering, and it will give us confidence that when such reports are actually presented, there's actually annexures and attachments reflecting exactly a visual idea of how far are we in terms of whatever project there is. I was hoping again, Speaker, to actually find an entry on our stormwater project, because we know that has been a pain since last year and the year before that. It's actually not reflecting on the report, whereas we know most communities are affected. There's actually open canals that are actually turning into dams now that we have floods, but there's no communication or even reports around it.
Councillor Mangaba, once again, you have a right to write a motion so that we can get an extensive report on those matters, as much as also Councillor Nell raised an issue. So when it comes to that, please, councillors, if you feel that you are not satisfied, write a motion so that you can get clarity in those issues.
That comment is welcome, Speaker. I will receive it well. However, Communication 101 teaches you that when you report, the aim is to communicate. If people read your report and are unable to make sense of it, you've not reported. Our reports need to be at a standard where we don't have questions.
No. Are you proposing?
Before I propose, I see Councillor Olivier is sleeping. Sorry, give over to the mayor.
Order.
I will.
Order.
You can do. He's changing now.
Young man.
Now, Speaker, yes, just on a point or at the upgrade of our sports facilities. This instance, Kanzu, floodlights. There's in the past been things that we
Order.
wanted to give money, but now like this. Yeah, in the past, what happened in this projects, is that we found ourselves in difficulty after the project time period, and then the municipality must run around to fix things. So I want the department really to look closely, follow this progress on this report, on this projects, so that we can have good implementation. Speaker, to that extent, I would also like to remind your office of the master plan that's out there now. They go to public participation as soon as possible, because our facilities is in dire need of assistance. And so this assistance, it comes through a MIC. So with that said, I would like to propose that we then move the item. Thank you.
Councillor Olivier.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, things that I must say something. I was that project is going well. I went to go and have a look at it. I have an understanding that it is going to take a while to get done, because they explained to me that when you do the cementing of that floodlight, because it's so big, it has to take a while to sink. So I'm quite happy with the progress of it, and I'm so glad, because the last time New Horizons stole our money for the floodlights, they took it to New Horizons for field, told us we now we have to love what's happening to France.
Speaker, can I correct on a point of correction, Speaker? On a point of correction on the Speaker. On a point of correction. On a point of correction, yes, Speaker.
No,
Can I correct?
order.
Speaker, on a point of correction, please.
What's when I
This is
Executive Mayor.
false allegations, yes, please. Speaker.
Mayor, I don't. Councillors, please. Now, Councillor Olivier. Councillor Olivier, please.
Blow ahead that day when the decision was made. She was fast. I did. She was absent when they did. She ended an apology. She said she's gonna blow ahead when there was supposed to be decision.
Councillors.
She went for a hair appointment. We were
Councillor. Executive Mayor, you can't do that.
Decision's taken. She was at the hair appointment. She said it's rather important to blow ahead.
It's fine. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Mr. Mayor, point of order, Mr. Brickman, we still two, James.
No. Speak to me. Councillor Kamram, speak to me, please.
Ja, man, maak je kans opstel. Maak kans op Olivier opstel.
I know I asked previously for my member to look at it. From my understanding, I just want to note my concerns regarding the water treatment works. From my understanding, it was a project funded by the WSIG grant. If I can recall correctly, there was an item last year that, that we were in trouble. And then we had to make some of our internal funding available to fund the project. Wonderful. But we will get the grant back now. I will write an email. I did write a previous emails about water treatment, wastewater treatment work. I didn't get a response from the manager, but Mr. Fiat, absolutely. I will write an email about the water treatment works. If that's the case, I will implication for the project. So I just want to note my concerns here, and when that second.
Thank you, Councillor. The proposal in the second one? Okay, thank you. Councillors, to what the executive mayor raised, the public participation, the master plan, what is it?
Sports master plan.
Sports master plan. Public participation. Councillors, we must take public participation very seriously now. Because when we take things to our communities, it must be very important issues that deals with their wards. It must not be just for compliance anymore. When we talk about public participation, we must take serious things that are really into their hearts. You see, that's public participation for sports, the master plan for sport, it must go for public participation because young people really, we are looking, because there are so many sporting codes around Bitou, and we really want our young ones to take them off the streets. And we can't even get a funding, grant funding, if we don't have that plan. So really it must go to our communities. We have resolved about it, but I will follow it up with the officials. Thank you very much. Next item.
Moving to section 6, economic development and planning. First item is item C/6/151/07/24, local economic fourth quarterly report period April 2024 to June 2024, page 492.
Item 7. Councillor Michelle.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, by today when we have put out this item or this document to the public, I just want to alert the municipality that our small SMMEs is waiting for whatever we have put in this document, where they will be benefiting from the skills that will come out. So we need to move with this so that our people can get the full benefit of what was promised. With that, I will go with the recommendation.
Second. Councillor Kamkam.
Thank you, Speaker. The only thing I've got a bit of a challenge with is recommendation number 2. Because in the portfolio meeting, it sounded like recommendations number 2 is in relation to the mines, and that is a different process. But it doesn't say in the recommendation number 2, it's specifically for that purpose. So in a way, I will support those recommendations as long as they stay away from the MRE's process in terms of the mines. It's got a social responsibility project, social responsibility towards the communities nearest to him. Because that was a debate in the portfolio meeting, yes. That, for example, Curlin Brickfields, there's a plan for them to do things in Curlin Village. And then so the issue was in those type of for their own benefit. So I just want to make it clear, I support this recommendation as recommendation number 2. Doesn't mean that. Because it's a different process.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm supporting those recommendations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm watching.
You have to put that you are watching us, but you are supporting the recommendation. Thank you so much. Next item.
Presentation through the open items for discussion. Mr. Speaker, we will move now to item number 12, in the order of business.
Councillors, item number 12, urgent matters submitted by the municipal manager, none. Number 13, consideration of notices of motion, none received. Number 14, consideration of notices of questions, none received. Number 15, consideration of motions of exigency, none received. Number 16, in committee matters. Councillors, we are in committee. Must I give you
yes,
tea break? Okay. All those that are not allowed in committee, please make way. Thank you so much.